Every pass rusher in NFL history, the first ballot Hall of Famers, all the way to the ultimate draft busts, fall somewhere on one of these 7 levels. Though most never make it past the middle levels, the ones who make it all the way to level 7 live on forever. But to start, we'll have to go with level 1. For level 1, we're focusing on high draft picks who completely failed to live up to expectations. These are guys teams invested serious capital in, thinking they found their franchise pass rusher. Let's start with Vernon Gholston. The Jets made this dude the 6th overall pick in 2008, thinking they found their elite pass rusher. What they got instead was a walking disaster, who recorded exactly 0 sacks in his entire NFL career. 0. In 3 seasons with New York, Gholston managed to put up 42 total tackles across 45 games. That just can't happen from a top 10 pick. And we can't forget about Clelin Ferrell. The Raiders took him 4th overall in 2019. And the man was so mediocre that Raiders fans were calling for his head after 2 seasons. He finished with just 17 sacks over 6 seasons. That's barely 3 sacks per year for a top 5 pick. The Raiders were so desperate to move on that they just let him walk in free agency, and he's been a journeyman ever since. There honestly isn't that much else to say about these types of players anymore, but the next level, you actually get to some rotational guys. These players are fine. Not 3-down linemen, can be decent at times, but typically are going to need someone to come actually be the go-to starter. If they're your 4th string, you're golden. If they're your starter, then your D-line is going to be in trouble. And take Chase Young. He had an unbelievable moment his rookie season in 2020, putting up 7.5 sacks and winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. But his defining role now comes as a rotational piece in New Orleans, contributing 5.5 sacks in 2024, and he hasn't even played yet in 2025. Leonard Floyd proved that before elevating his game. He had decent production as a rotational player in Chicago, could make every pass rush move, but would later disappear for stretches. Then Leonard Floyd went on to the Rams and won the Super Bowl with Aaron Donald and also Von Miller there, so he was the 3rd guy. Level 2 defensive linemen will help you win championships as role players. Keep your defensive coordinator happy with their reliability, but don't expect them to be the focal point of your pass rush. Good enough to contribute, just not good enough to be the all-time starter. That's the next level. Here we have people who probably have made multiple Pro Bowls, maybe even an All-Pro, but they're not super elite defensive linemen. They can cause the opposing offensive coordinator to make note of them, but not elite enough to have them lose sleep. Javon Curse had his legendary rookie season in 1999, recording 14.5 sacks and winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was absolutely dominant that rookie season, and then after that, he could never quite live up to that high that he had set for himself. You have guys like Brian Burns here, very good in Carolina, and who's now on the Giants, and is still a very good player. But he's always been more name than great player, getting over double-digit sacks just once. George Karlaftis and Nick Bonito are guys here too. Very dependable starters, just not necessarily elite. Even still, these guys can provide enough pass rush to make your defense viable. But don't expect them to do too much or break any all-time sack records anytime soon. That's for the elite starters. We all know who they are. What separates them from normal starters is that these guys have the ability to be the focal point of a defense, demand double teams from offensive coordinators, and actually lead their team to championship games. Max Crosby is a perfect example of this level ceiling. When he's on, he's absolutely dominant. That 2023 season with 14.5 sacks and making an All-Pro second team made him look like a future superstar. Justin Tuck might be one of the most clutch performers at this level from the early 2000s. 2 Super Bowl rings, multiple Pro Bowls, and he did it with all elite production. A guy like Trey Hendrickson, who had back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons, is here. Jared Verse, along with Aiden Hutchinson and Robert Mathis as well. These guys are really, really good. They can take over games, they command respect from offensive coordinators, and they're the type of players you build the defense around. Just not quite the upper-tier pass rushers like the next group. Everyone on this level is a potential Hall of Famer. Level 5 has elite pass rush moves, clutch gene for days, and can make plays that 90% of defensive linemen in the league simply can't make. Nick Bosa, taking San Francisco to multiple NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl appearance, putting up 18.5 sacks in his 2022 Defensive Player of the Year season. Micah Parsons, single-handedly dragging Dallas out of defensive mediocrity, putting up 13.5 sacks as a rookie and making first-team All-Pro, first-team All-Pro, and then second-team All-Pro in his first 3 seasons. You have a guy like Terrell Suggs, who had 139 career sacks, is a legend in Baltimore, but didn't do just enough to become a first-ballot Hall of Famer. You may be wondering why a guy like Khalil Mack is on this level as well. He's got the accolades, he's got the Defensive Player of the Year, but I'm just not sure he's a first-ballot Hall of Fame lock. like the next crew. First ballot Hall of Famers. There's no wiggle room here. All of these guys are making it, if they haven't already. Take TJ Watt, winning Defensive Player of the Year in 2021 with 22.5 sacks. He has 108 career sacks already, and he's still in his prime. Myles Garrett, with the combination of size, speed, and pure pass rush we have never seen before. His 2023 Defensive Player of the Year season was absolutely ridiculous. 14 sacks while being double-teamed constantly. You have John Randall here, who might sound like he shouldn't be here since he's a D-tackle, but he absolutely revolutionized the D-tackle position from the interior. That peak from 1993 to 1998 was legendary. 6 straight All-Pro selections, 137.5 career sacks from the defensive tackle position. Kevin Green with 160 career sacks, winning Defensive Player of the Year in 1996, one of the most consistently great pass rushers we've ever seen. Michael Strahan, setting the single-season sack record, is also here. Von Miller's dominance from when he was drafted until 2021, DeMarcus Ware and Dwight Freeney, and of course, RIP Derek Thomas, who absolutely revolutionized the position in and of himself. These guys are all all-time greats. I just don't believe they're the best to ever do it. That's reserved for level 7. These guys are one of them ones. They're masters of their craft. I think only 6 players have ever reached pass rush mastery. Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Aaron Donald, Deacon Jones, J.J. Watt, and Lawrence Taylor. Reggie White with a work ethic that was just otherworldly. The man was basically a coach on the field, running every move to perfection, reading offensive lines like he wrote the playbook himself. 198 career sacks, 13 Pro Bowls, and that legendary career that spanned close to 2 decades. He literally defined what it meant to be a professional pass rusher. Bruce Smith with that freakish longevity and ability to make the impossible look routine. 200 career sacks, the all-time record, and that incredible consistency over 19 seasons that'll never be matched. Aaron Donald, the combination of size, speed, and competitive fire that elevated everyone around him. 111 sacks in just 10 seasons. 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and he proved he wasn't just a product of one system by dominating from multiple positions. He had a 20.5 sack season as a D-tackle. Deacon Jones with an unofficial 173.5 sacks. Since they didn't start counting sacks until 1982, all of this has to be unofficial. But he unofficially had back-to-back seasons with 21.5 and 22 sacks in 1967 and 1968. J.J. Watt with that peak that was simply untouchable. 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards in 4 years, 114.5 career sacks, and that 2014 season where he had 20.5 sacks and caught 3 touchdown passes. He probably should have won MVP that year, but they gave it to Aaron Rodgers instead. And I'm saving the best for last in Lawrence Taylor, the best defensive player ever. He had a stretch of 5 straight seasons with 12 sacks, and the reason it wasn't 6 is because he had 11.5 one year. He had 20.5 sacks and won MVP in 1986. He was truly unstoppable. These 6 pass rushers will live in NFL immortality forever. They checked every single box. They could do everything you ever wanted, and they were the best at their position. And so there you have it, the 7 levels of NFL pass rushers. From the all-time busts who set your franchises back, to the absolute masters who redefined what the position could be. Every pass rusher you've ever watched, every name you ever heard fits somewhere on this spectrum. And as time goes on, the game evolves. But the all-time greats will always be great, no matter the era.